Hi everybody and welcome to the Kidney Coach YouTube channel. I am naturopath Fiona Chin and co-creator of the Kidney Disease Solution and the product range Genesis. I'm joined by the amazing Emily Carhill. Emily is a fully qualified registered nurse. She works at a large cardiovascular unit, I was about to say oncology, but large cardiovascular unit here in Melbourne, Australia. She's also a fully qualified naturopath with a special interest in all things cancer and oncology, and as well as all things kidney. Emily also helps write our articles for the kidneycoach.com and writes our Facebook posts. And if you have ever sent in an email, it'll either be the wonderful Emily or Rachel responding to you. And Emily has also been trained by Duncan and I to facilitate people through the kidney disease solution if they want a little bit more hand holding and to tweak and refine the program, which we have seen some amazing results when Emily gets in there and just tweaks supplements and things like that. When we just really want to get people bumping up to the next improved stage of kidney function, Emily's often our wonder whiz that goes in and just can do that for people, which is great. So thanks for joining me today, Em. I think today we thought we'd talk about couch grass, or as my beautiful Dr. Carla calls it, couch grass. And I think probably if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you're going to be calling it couch grass, but maybe it's just us Australians that call it couch grass with our accents. It's spelled couch, it probably is couch grass, but we'll call it couch grass because we're Aussies and that's what we do. So let's dive into that and why it is one of our major herbs in our Nanna's tea formula as well. So we love this herb. So we'll take it across to you, Emily, to just maybe discuss firstly what it is, and then we'll go into all its therapeutic actions and why we love it so much.
Yeah, so now I don't know what to call it. Couch grass is a herb that I guess traditionally has a real affinity for the urinary tract. So it's been used, traditionally for urinary tract irritation, inflammation, spasms, and I guess when I think about it, I kind of think of that as that real kind of soothing action on the urinary tract. Some of its other benefits are that it does have antibacterial and antimicrobial actions as well. So that can particularly be beneficial for urinary tract infections. It is a mild diuretic, so increases the volume of urine. It's got, as I said, that kind of, it's called a demulcent herb is the way we speak about it in herbal medicine, but that real kind of soothing action on mucous membranes, and particularly, as I said, in the urinary tract. So that, can help reduce inflammation, any kind of irritation or anything like that. It's anti-inflammatory. And one of the things that I wasn't aware of is that it has a role in reducing cholesterol.
Yeah, I know. When I was doing the article for it, I was like, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
It definitely does that. So I think it does it via its because it's an anti-cholesterol, that's its action, but I think that does it via its anti-inflammatory action was the thing that I really got from that. The other thing, because it reduces, it's anti-inflammatory action. So I guess chronic inflammation and things like that with kidney stones. But it's also really high in inositol, which is has an affinity for the liver, and we would often use or prescribe inositol if someone's got a fatty liver or something that we want to do with that. So they think it's the inositol inside the couch grass that facilitates that cholesterol lowering activity.
There you go.
Yes. So, I mean, I guess we should say it's a grass. It looks like a grass.
Yes.
In fact, I think it's a weed.
Like a
it looks just like a grass. It's like a weedy kind of thing in the Northern Hemisphere. In fact, you're probably walking over it all the time. It's like with the horses, it almost looks like ryegrass. It's got that real stemmy sort of, point at this, but that looks nothing like it, but sort of thing like that. So why did we put it in the tea, Emily? Like, what is it that we love about? I know you've talked about some of it being anti-inflammatory and antibacterial and diuretic and things like that. But the other thing I understand about it is it actually can be quite prophylactic in preventing kidney stones, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. So it can do a couple of things there. One, because it's a diuretic. So diuretics help in increase the volume of urine. So the less stagnation we have of urine, the less ability there is for things like calcium oxalates and things like that to bind together and cause stones. But it's also been shown to increase the excretion of oxalic acid, which calcium oxalate stones, that oxalate part comes from oxalic acid. So in studies in people who had previous oxalate stones, it actually showed that over, I think it was a fairly long-term study, that it reduced the build-up of stones and prevented further stones from forming as well. So yeah, a good one for reducing kidney stones, as well as if people do have kidney stones, then because of its sort of soothing and demulcent type action, it can also help to reduce some of the pain as well if people are passing a stone, and the irritation that occurs if people are passing a stone.
Yeah, it's really great for that. And I guess because of what you just said with clearing out oxalic acid, it makes it also an awesome herb if you're prone to gout, because I think for that same mechanism, and it's really great at increasing the excretion of uric acid, because uric acid, you know, when that gets really high, that's one of the contributors to gout. So if you're a real gouty kidney stone kind of person, then couch grass is your herb. It's very specific for that. You know, it's funny, when we were studying, I used to have, I don't know if you ever did this might be just how my crazy brain works, but I'd have like a personality of every herb. And so like the plurum's the really angry, inflamed, autoimmune type person. And then, you know, like Schizandra, and I'm just naming some Chinese herbs here, but Schizandra's like, she's really gentle and she wants to help you with your spirit and things like that. But couch grass is really for a beer drinker that gets a lot of gout, prone to kidney stones, and is probably sitting watching the Super Bowl on the weekend, has really high cholesterol and is eating a bit like Homer Simpson. When I think of couch grass, I think Homer Simpson needs to be on couch grass. That was how that's how I remembered and learnt herbs. I would put a personality for them and that would help me know what they treated. So yeah, Homer Simpson needs to go on couch grass. So that's how I remember that herb. So apart from lowering cholesterol, being anti-inflammatory, great for gout, being a diuretic, it's amazing for kidney stones. What's the other major sort of things that you would think of when we're talking about couch grass? Is there anything else that I missed?
Really good for people who have recurrent urinary tract infections.
Oh, yes.
Because it can reduce some of the way bacteria can adhere to the wall of the bladder, which then can go on to cause infections, so particularly things like E. coli. So it can stop that from occurring. So yeah, and because it is already as well antimicrobial, antiseptic, antibacterial as well, it can help in the treatment of urinary tract infections too. So a good one for people particularly who are at risk for developing UTIs.
Okay. And does it have any known toxicity or anything that people should be aware of if they're thinking, I'm going to go out on a Homer Simpson, I'm going to go get my couch grass? Anything they need to know about toxicity?
Mostly for anyone who is allergic. Don't use it.
Yep.
And then I guess a couple of cautions are if you're taking diuretic medication, just because it has a diuretic action. So that would be a caution. And as well, because it has a diuretic action, that it can reduce potassium levels in the longer term too. So just something else to monitor.
Okay. Any drug interactions? So if people are on any other medications, anything they should be worried about?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
No, me either. And what's the best way to take it? Because we talked about putting it in the tea. Is that the best way? Like if you're going to go and take couch grass, would you be wanting to take it in a herbal extract or a tablet or a capsule? Or do you think tea is the best way to do it?
I generally prescribe it in a tea because I'm generally prescribing it for whether it be urinary tract indications, and I just find particularly for that anti-inflammatory, demulcent, antimicrobial action, using it in a tea, so as you know, it's going to the place where we want it to go is generally how I'd use it. You can take it in a herbal extract. I don't know if there are, I've not seen tablet forms of couch grass, maybe in some sort of formulation.
Yeah, I think when I did a quick search on iHerb for it, that you can get capsules, but I'm with you. Like, you want it to go into the kidneys. If you're going to ingest it, it's going to go through the digestive tract. If you drink it in a tea, this is why we do the Nanna's tea. If no one knows why we do it in a tea, because when you ingest a herb, you're going through the digestive tract. It's got to get picked up in the large intestine and then delivered to wherever it's going to go. When you drink it in a tea, those substances have a more direct straight path straight down into because it's in fluid, into the kidneys. So you're getting the active constituents of the herbs that we're using straight to where we want it to go. So I definitely think it's a herbal tea. And do you know the taste of it? What do you think of the taste?
I think it tastes a bit like grass.
It does. Well, I mean, it is a grass. It's exactly, it tastes like grassy green tea, I guess.
It's good if you add something. It and, you know, a couple of other herbs might just lift it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we I know people have been, I know you and I said this in a podcast we did a while ago, that the Nanna's herbal tea is coming, and it is. We're producing it in Australia because that's where we can get really good organic herbs. But because of the old supply chain and everything that's going on in the world, and we have to make tea boxes, everything always takes 100 times longer than I want it to. I wanted our herbal tea range to be out by now, but hopefully February next year, the herbal teas will be up and ready to go, all pre-done in the nice little pretty tea bags and things like that. So you just dip and soak them. But yeah, if you are part of our kidney disease solution, you have the recipe for our Nanna's kidney tea, and that's got the nettle that Emily and I have spoken about in a previous podcast, as well as the couch grass and a few other bits and pieces in there. So it is one of these major herbs that we use for all the things that we spoke about. And if you identify as a Homer Simpson, or if someone you love has kidney disease and you would identify as a Homer Simpson, it's the perfect herb for them for preventing things like gout and kidney stones and all those sort of things. But even if not, you can drink it as well. I drink my couch grass a couple of times a week in my Nanna's tea, so just to keep my kidneys going. Anything else you want to say about couch grass, Em?
Couch. It's also really good for enlarged prostate. And prostatitis. So Homer Simpson probably had an enlarged prostate.
I would say Homer Simpson probably has elevated PSA and is probably on the tipping point to get prostate stuff. So yes, I'd agree with that. So there you go. You know all about our wonderful herb couch grass. And if you're looking for it, if you head to, I don't think our resource page is coming, but if you head to, or you can email the girls at support@kidneycoach.com. They can tell you where to get it from. If you're in Australia, Austral Herbs, they're the ones putting together our herbal tea blend. They do really great all organic teas. And if you're over in the US there, we do have a supplier of it, and you can just email the girls at support@kidneycoach.com, and they'll be able to flick across that where you can order that from. But if you jump onto iHerb and have a look, I'm pretty sure actually you can order the tea on iHerb as well. I did see it there too. Amazing. Well, thank you, Emily, as always. Hopefully you found this information useful. If you did, please make sure you hit like. And if you hit subscribe, you'll get notified every time that we put up new content. And thank you for being part of our Kidney Coach community. We always hope you find this information useful. If you need anything else, chuck a comment down below. I do check those. And if you want to know more about who we are and what we do, you can head to www.kidneycoach.com and you'll find all the information you're looking for there. Thank you again, Emily. I always appreciate your time and your input. And thank you for being such a big part of our team. I don't know what we'd do without you. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.